This video explains how to set up your website to use PageSpeed Service. When completed, your website will be served via PageSpeed servers, and its resources will be optimized and cached to reduce web page load time. Start by opening the email you received from the PageSpeed Service team inviting you to use the service. It contains a link to the setup guide that you can consult for detailed instructions and other useful information. If you're stuck at any point in the setup process, write to pss-support@google.com for help. The email contains an activation button that links to a project created for you in the Google API's console. This activation link is associated with the Google account listed earlier in the email. So remember, you'll need to be logged into the console using this Google email address. Click the activation button to go to the Google API's login page. Then log in using the Google email address shown earlier. If you're already logged in using a different account name, make sure you log out and log back in using the right email address. After you read the terms of service and are ready to proceed, select the checkbox to agree to the terms. Then click the Accept button. This will open your project page in the API's console. In the navigation bar on the left, click on PageSpeed Service to reveal its overview panel. Now we're ready to set up your website with the service. The setup process consists of 3 steps. The first step is to enter the domain name of the site that you want to optimize using PageSpeed Service. We'll refer to this domain name as the serving domain. In the console, under the Add New Domain section, type your website's domain name as the domain you want to optimize. In this video, we're going to set up the serving domain www.myexample.info. If your site needs to serve pages over HTTPS, select the Setup with SSL option. Otherwise, use the default regular setup option. Then click the Add button. If you have not established ownership of this domain with Google in the past, you'll need to do that now before proceeding. Click on the Claim Ownership button and follow the instructions. To prove ownership of your site, you'll need to either log in to your hosting provider or use an alternate method, such as uploading an HTML file. Once the ownership is verified, your domain will be listed in Webmaster Central as a verified site. Also, the status message next to your domain in the console will update as shown. You might need to refresh the page or re-enter your domain name to see this update. If the status is Not Ready Setup Origin Host, we can now proceed to step 2, which is to specify an origin host for your site. The origin host is the original location of your site's resources, namely its HTML, images, and so on. PageSpeed servers will fetch content from this location as needed before serving them to the browser. PageSpeed Service can sometimes automatically set up an origin host suitable for your site. So if the status message in the console is not Set up origin host, you can skip this step. Otherwise, click on the Set up origin host link to reveal specific instructions for your site. In our case, we're asked to create an A-type DNS record for the subdomain origin.myexample.info, pointing to the IP address shown. To do this, log into your hosting provider and navigate to the DNS manager for your domain. Here's an example of what the DNS editor might look like for your provider. In the A record section, we'll add a new entry using the subdomain name origin in the host field. And for the value field, we'll use the IP address from the instructions in the console. Then we'll save our changes. Back in the console, click the Update button next to your origin hostname. Once the previous DNS change is detected, the status message for your domain will change to Not Ready Setup Serving Domain. Now we can proceed to the final step, step 3, which is to modify the DNS record of the serving domain so that it points to PageSpeed servers. This DNS change will direct your site's traffic to PageSpeed Service and complete the setup process. Click on the Setup Serving Domain link to get detailed instructions. If you chose the Setup with SSL Support option, you'll need to first follow the instructions in the SSL Setup Guide to upload your site's digital certificates. You'll find a link to the guide in the console instructions. Since we chose the regular setup option, we'll need to add a CNAME type DNS record with the host www that points to pagespeed.googlehosted.com. For this, we'll go to our domain's DNS manager again and navigate to the CNAME record section to add this record. In our scenario, we can see that there's already a CNAME record with the host value of www. So let's just edit this record so that it points to pagespeed.googlehosted.com. Then we'll save our changes. This DNS change can take an hour or more to propagate, depending on your provider. Once completed, the status message in the console will change to enabled, and then we're done. This completes the setup of our site. Its web pages will now be optimized and served using Google PageSpeed Service. The console offers several features to help you operate your site and get the best out of PageSpeed Service. Read the documentation and watch the other how-to videos on our website for more information. Or write to us at pss-support@google.com.